Your journey awaits you. Mufasa, the Lion King.
So
Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 release date, December 20, 2024 aught. Disney Plus runtime, 118 minutes genre, adventure, family, drama, musical, budget, $200 million box office, $723 million plus director, Barry Jenkins producers, Adele Ramonsky, Mark Sariak cast, Aaron Pierre, Kelvin Harrison Jr., Tiffany Boone, Mads Mikkelsen, Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, Donald Glover, Beyoncé Knowles Carter. Mufasa, The Lion King is an emotional and visually spectacular prequel that tells the origin story of Mufasa long before he became the legendary king of the Pride Lands. The movie begins with Mufasa as a young orphaned cub who was separated from his parents during a devastating flood and forced to survive alone in a dangerous wilderness. His life changes when he meets Taka, a young lion from a royal bloodline who eventually becomes known as Scar. At first, Taka saves Mufasa and treats him like a brother, and the two grow up together while learning about survival, leadership, loyalty, and family. As the story progresses, Mufasa proves that true leadership comes from courage, kindness, wisdom, and sacrifice rather than royal blood. The bond between Mufasa and Taka becomes the heart of the film, and their relationship is filled with friendship, trust, competition, jealousy, and emotional conflict. Along their journey they face dangerous enemies, harsh environments, and powerful lions who threaten their future. One of the major villains is Kiros, a ruthless and intimidating white lion whose actions force Mufasa and his allies into a desperate struggle for survival. The movie follows Mufasa as he gathers companions, protects those he cares about, and gradually earns the respect of everyone around him. Sarabi is introduced as a strong and intelligent lioness whose connection with Mufasa becomes an important part of the story and creates tension between Mufasa and Taka. As Mufasa grows into a natural leader, Taka slowly becomes consumed by insecurity and jealousy, setting the foundation for the rivalry that fans know from The Lion King. The film successfully explains how Scar changed from a loyal brother into a future villain, making his character more complex and tragic than before. Visually, the movie is stunning, with breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal animation, impressive lighting, and beautiful action sequences that make every scene feel grand and cinematic. The music adds emotional weight to the story, and the voice performances are strong throughout, especially Aaron Pierre as Mufasa and Kelvin Harrison Jr. as Taka. The emotional moments between the brothers are among the film's greatest strengths because they give the story genuine heart and make the eventual conflict feel meaningful. The action scenes are exciting, the adventure is engaging, and the world building expands the Lion King universe in an interesting way. However, the movie is not perfect. Some viewers may feel that parts of the story move slowly, certain songs are less memorable than the classics from the original Lion King, and a few supporting characters do not receive enough development. Even with these flaws, the film succeeds as a heartfelt origin story that explores destiny, friendship, betrayal, courage, and leadership. Mufasa's journey from a lonely orphan to a respected king is inspiring, while Taka's transformation into Scar adds emotional depth and tragedy to the narrative. Overall, Mufasa, The Lion King is a visually magnificent family adventure with strong emotional storytelling, memorable characters, exciting action, and meaningful themes, making it a worthy addition to the Lion King franchise and an enjoyable experience for both longtime fans and new audiences. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to stand out because of the way it develops the relationship between Mufasa and Taka, the two characters whose bond drives nearly every important moment in the film. One of the movie's biggest strengths is how it shows that Mufasa is not born into greatness but gradually earns respect through his actions, courage, and willingness to protect others. Throughout the story, he consistently demonstrates qualities that make him different from many traditional heroes because he is motivated by compassion rather than power. This makes him easy to admire and gives emotional weight to his journey. Taka, on the other hand, is written as a far more complicated character. He begins as someone capable of loyalty and friendship, but his growing insecurity creates tension that slowly changes the direction of his life. The movie does a good job showing how jealousy can affect relationships and how small emotional wounds can grow into much larger problems over time. The contrast between the two characters becomes one of the film's most interesting elements because both start from similar circumstances but respond to challenges in very different ways. Sarabi is also an important part of the story, bringing intelligence, confidence, and emotional balance to several key moments. Her presence influences major decisions and adds another layer to the evolving relationship between Mufasa and Taka. The villain Kiros provides a serious threat throughout the film and helps create some of the movie's most intense and exciting sequences. His presence keeps the danger level high and forces the heroes to make difficult choices. Visually, the movie remains one of the most impressive animated productions released in recent years. The environments are detailed, the landscapes are beautiful, and the animation makes the animal characters feel realistic while still allowing them to express emotion. The action scenes are exciting without becoming overwhelming, and the emotional scenes benefit from strong voice performances across the cast. Aaron Pierre gives Mufasa warmth and strength, while Kelvin Harrison Jr. brings depth and sadness to Taka's character. One of the film's greatest achievements is that it makes audiences understand both characters even when they disagree with their choices. The movie also explores themes of family, belonging, destiny, leadership, and sacrifice in a way that feels accessible to younger viewers while still being meaningful for adults. Some viewers may feel that a few sections of the film take longer than necessary to reach important developments, and certain supporting characters could have been given more screen time, but these issues do not significantly damage the overall experience. The emotional core of the movie remains strong from beginning to end, and the story succeeds in giving audiences a deeper understanding of how the future King of the Pride Lands became the leader seen in The Lion King. As a prequel, the film expands the mythology of the franchise while maintaining the emotional spirit that made the original story so beloved. The combination of strong character development, beautiful visuals, emotional storytelling, and meaningful themes helps make Mufasa, The Lion King an engaging and memorable addition to the Lion King universe. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 reaches some of its strongest moments through the growing conflict between Mufasa and Taka, a relationship that becomes more emotional and complicated as the story progresses. What begins as a bond built on trust, friendship, and brotherhood slowly transforms into something much darker as their paths start to separate. Mufasa continues proving himself through bravery, wisdom, and selflessness, earning the admiration of those around him without actively seeking power or recognition. This natural leadership becomes one of the reasons other characters begin to look up to him, but it also creates problems because Taka increasingly feels overshadowed. The movie effectively shows how jealousy can grow gradually rather than appearing suddenly, making Taka's emotional journey believable and tragic. Instead of portraying him as purely evil from the beginning, the story allows audiences to see the fear, insecurity, and frustration that influence his decisions. This approach gives his character far more depth than many viewers may expect and helps explain how he eventually becomes Scar. The film also continues to develop Sarabi as a strong and intelligent character whose presence affects both lions in different ways. Her growing connection with Mufasa becomes another source of tension and further highlights the differences between the two brothers. Meanwhile, the threat posed by Kiros and his followers keeps the adventure moving forward, creating dangerous situations that test loyalty, courage, and determination. Several action sequences stand out because they combine impressive visuals with genuine emotional stakes, making viewers care about the outcome rather than simply watching spectacle. The animation remains one of the movie's greatest strengths, with stunning landscapes, realistic animal movements, and beautifully detailed environments that make every location feel alive. The filmmakers clearly invested significant effort into creating a visually immersive world, and the result is often breathtaking. The voice cast continues delivering strong performances, particularly during the emotional scenes where the relationships between characters become the primary focus. The movie succeeds when it concentrates on themes of family, belonging, trust, betrayal, and leadership because these ideas give the story emotional depth beyond its adventure elements. However, not every aspect works perfectly. Some supporting characters feel underused, and a few story developments may seem predictable to audiences already familiar with the original Lion King narrative. Certain musical moments are enjoyable but may not leave the same lasting impact as the most iconic songs from previous films in the franchise. Despite these shortcomings, the emotional journey remains compelling because viewers become invested in the fate of the characters and the choices they make. The film does an excellent job showing that becoming a great leader is not about strength alone but about compassion, sacrifice, responsibility, and the ability to put others before oneself. By the end of this stage of the story, Mufasa is continuing to evolve into the lion destined to rule the Pride Lands, while Taka is moving closer to the path that will eventually define his future. This emotional contrast gives the movie much of its power and ensures that the story remains engaging even for audiences who already know where these characters will ultimately end up. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 becomes even more engaging as the emotional distance between Mufasa and Taka continues to grow, turning what was once a powerful brotherhood into the central tragedy of the film. One of the strongest aspects of this part of the story is how it highlights the different ways the two characters respond to hardship and opportunity. Mufasa repeatedly chooses courage, responsibility, and selflessness, while Taka increasingly allows his insecurities to influence his judgment. The movie carefully builds this contrast, making their eventual conflict feel natural rather than forced. As new challenges arise, Mufasa proves that leadership is not about claiming power but about earning trust through actions. His willingness to protect others, even at personal risk, makes him a character that audiences can easily support. At the same time, Taka remains one of the most interesting characters because the film shows that his struggles come from emotional wounds rather than simple cruelty. This gives his journey a tragic quality that adds depth to the overall story. Sarabi continues to play an important role, bringing intelligence and strength to the narrative while also influencing key relationships between the main characters. Her scenes help develop the emotional side of the story and provide some of the film's most meaningful character interactions. The threat of Kiros remains effective because he creates genuine danger and pushes the heroes into situations where difficult decisions must be made. The action sequences continue to impress thanks to the film's remarkable visual quality, with realistic animation, detailed environments, and large-scale moments that feel cinematic and exciting. The landscapes are especially beautiful, making the Pride Lands and surrounding regions feel alive and full of wonder. The voice performances remain consistently strong, helping audiences connect emotionally with the characters during both dramatic and heartfelt moments. One of the movie's greatest strengths is its ability to balance adventure with character development, ensuring that major events have emotional significance rather than existing purely for spectacle. The themes of family, loyalty, destiny, sacrifice, and betrayal become increasingly important as the story progresses, giving the film depth beyond its visual achievements. While some viewers may feel that certain supporting characters deserved more development and a few story beats can be anticipated by fans familiar with the Lion King mythology, the emotional execution remains effective enough to keep the audience invested. The movie succeeds in showing that greatness is often defined by character rather than status, and that the choices individuals make during difficult moments can shape their future. As the story moves forward, the growing divide between Mufasa and Taka becomes more heartbreaking, adding emotional weight to every scene they share and making their relationship one of the most memorable elements of the entire film. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to build emotional momentum by focusing on the consequences of the choices made by its central characters, and this is where the film becomes much more than a simple adventure story. The growing tension between Mufasa and Taka remains the heart of the movie, and every major event seems to push them further apart despite the bond they once shared. What makes these moments effective is that the audience understands the emotions driving both characters. Mufasa continues to earn respect through his courage, compassion, and willingness to put others before himself, while Taka struggles with feelings of inadequacy and the fear of losing the place he believes he deserves. The film does a strong job showing how jealousy can slowly change a person, making decisions that once seemed impossible begin to feel inevitable. This emotional conflict gives the story much of its power and helps explain why the Lion King mythology remains so compelling. Sarabi continues to be an important presence, offering intelligence, strength, and emotional support while also influencing the direction of key relationships. Her scenes help balance the action with genuine character development and provide some of the movie's most heartfelt moments. The threat posed by heroes remains significant, creating dangerous situations that test the courage and unity of the heroes. These challenges allow the film to explore themes of sacrifice, loyalty, and perseverance while keeping the story exciting. Visually, the movie remains spectacular, with breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal animation, and impressive action sequences that demonstrate the technical achievements of the production team. The environments feel vast and alive, making the world itself an important part of the experience. The voice cast continues delivering strong performances, particularly during emotional scenes where the characters confront difficult truths about themselves and their relationships. One of the film's greatest strengths is that it makes audiences care about the characters beyond their roles in the larger Lion King franchise. Even viewers who already know where the story is heading can become invested in the journey because the emotional storytelling is handled with sincerity and care. The movie also reinforces the idea that true leadership comes from service, responsibility, and empathy rather than privilege or status. While some sections may feel slower than others and a few supporting characters could have benefited from additional development, the overall narrative remains engaging because of its strong emotional core. The contrast between Mufasa's growth into a respected leader and Taka's gradual descent into bitterness continues to create powerful drama, making every interaction between them meaningful. By this stage of the film, the audience can clearly see how the choices made in the present will shape the future of the Pride Lands, adding a sense of importance to every victory, setback, and emotional confrontation. The result is a visually stunning and emotionally resonant chapter that deepens the characters while strengthening the themes of family, destiny, betrayal, and the cost of ambition. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 reaches some of its most emotionally powerful moments as the story places increasing pressure on the relationships that have been built throughout the film. What makes this stage of the movie particularly effective is the way it combines large-scale adventure with personal character drama. Mufasa continues to demonstrate the qualities that make him a natural leader, not because he seeks authority but because others trust his judgment, bravery, and compassion. His actions consistently show that leadership is earned through service and sacrifice, and this message remains one of the strongest aspects of the film. At the same time, Taka's internal struggles become more noticeable, creating a sense of sadness because audiences can see how his choices are beginning to affect both himself and those around him. The movie presents him as a complex character whose flaws grow from insecurity, disappointment, and a desire for recognition, making him far more interesting than a simple villain. This emotional complexity helps the story stand out and gives greater meaning to the events that shape the future of the Pride Lands. Sarabi continues to be one of the film's strongest supporting characters, bringing confidence, intelligence, and emotional warmth to several important scenes. Her interactions with the main characters help reveal different sides of their personalities and contribute to some of the movie's most memorable emotional moments. The danger created by Kiros and his followers remains a constant threat, ensuring that the adventure never loses momentum. These conflicts create exciting action sequences while also forcing characters to make difficult decisions that reveal who they truly are. Visually, the movie continues to impress with extraordinary animation, detailed environments, realistic animal movement, and beautiful landscapes that make every location feel alive. The scale of the world is one of the film's greatest strengths, and many scenes feel genuinely cinematic because of the impressive visual presentation. The voice performances remain strong throughout, helping audiences connect with the emotions of the characters even during quieter scenes. The film's themes of family, trust, belonging, courage, destiny, and betrayal continue to develop naturally as the story progresses, giving emotional weight to both the adventure and character interactions. While some viewers may wish that a few supporting characters received more development and certain story elements may feel familiar to longtime Lion King fans, the emotional execution remains strong enough to overcome these issues. The movie succeeds because it makes viewers care about the characters and understand the reasons behind their decisions, even when those decisions lead to conflict. By this point in the story, the contrast between Mufasa's growth and Taka's decline has become one of the most compelling aspects of the film, creating a powerful emotional foundation that keeps audiences invested and reinforces why this chapter of the Lion King universe is both meaningful and memorable. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 becomes increasingly emotional as the story moves toward the events that will ultimately shape the future of the Pride Lands, and one of the film's greatest strengths during this stage is how it focuses on the emotional consequences of loyalty, trust, and betrayal. The relationship between Mufasa and Taka continues to carry the entire narrative because every major development affects the bond they once shared. Mufasa remains a character defined by courage, kindness, and responsibility, and the movie repeatedly shows why other animals naturally look to him for guidance during difficult situations. His willingness to protect others even when facing danger reinforces the idea that true leaders are measured by their actions rather than their status. Taka, meanwhile, continues to struggle with feelings that gradually push him further away from the brother he once admired. The film handles this transformation carefully, allowing audiences to understand the emotional reasons behind his decisions without necessarily agreeing with them. This makes his character one of the most tragic and compelling parts of the movie. Sarabi continues to contribute significantly to the story, providing strength, intelligence, and emotional support while helping to highlight the growing differences between the two lions. Her scenes add warmth to the narrative and help balance the darker emotional developments taking place elsewhere. The threat posed by Kiros and his forces remains effective throughout this portion of the film, creating several tense moments that challenge the heroes physically and emotionally. These conflicts are not only exciting to watch but also serve to reveal the true nature of the characters when they are placed under pressure. Visually, the movie continues to deliver spectacular imagery, with breathtaking landscapes, realistic animation, detailed environments, and impressive action sequences that make the world feel immersive and alive. The attention to detail in the animation is remarkable, and many scenes look like nature documentaries brought to life with cinematic storytelling. The voice cast continues to perform strongly, helping viewers connect with the characters and their emotional journeys. One of the most successful aspects of the film is how it balances large-scale adventure with personal drama, ensuring that every major event has emotional significance. Themes such as family, destiny, sacrifice, friendship, jealousy, and leadership remain central to the story and give the narrative depth beyond its visual spectacle. While some viewers may feel that certain secondary characters could have been explored further and a few story developments may seem predictable because of the connection to the original Lion King story, the emotional impact remains strong. The movie succeeds because it transforms familiar characters into fully developed individuals with understandable motivations and meaningful relationships. As the story continues to build toward its most important turning points, the growing divide between Mufasa and Taka becomes even more heartbreaking, creating a powerful emotional experience that keeps audiences invested and reminds viewers why these characters remain some of the most iconic figures in animated cinema. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 reaches one of its most emotional stages as the consequences of earlier choices begin to affect every major character, and the film does an excellent job showing how relationships can be strengthened or broken by moments of trust and betrayal. Mufasa continues to grow into the leader audiences recognize from the original Lion King story, and what makes his journey inspiring is that he never relies on power alone. Instead, he earns loyalty through bravery, compassion, and a willingness to put the safety of others before his own interests. These qualities make him easy to admire and help explain why so many characters choose to follow him during difficult times. The emotional core of the movie remains the relationship between Mufasa and Taka, and this section of the story highlights just how far their bond has changed. The film carefully shows how jealousy, disappointment, and personal insecurity can slowly damage even the strongest friendships, creating a tragic feeling because viewers remember how close the two lions once were. Taka remains one of the most interesting characters in the movie because his actions are driven by emotions that feel understandable even when they lead him toward poor decisions. This complexity adds depth to the story and makes the conflict more powerful than a simple battle between good and evil. Sarabi continues to be an important presence, bringing intelligence, courage, and emotional balance to the narrative while also influencing several key developments. Her interactions with Mufasa help reveal his compassionate side, while her role in the story adds additional emotional weight to the growing tension surrounding the main characters. The dangers created by heroes remain a significant part of the adventure, providing intense action sequences and forcing the heroes to confront challenges that test their strength, loyalty, and determination. These moments are visually impressive and help maintain the film's sense of excitement without losing focus on character development. The animation continues to be one of the movie's greatest achievements, with stunning environments, realistic animal movement, beautiful lighting, and detailed landscapes that make every scene feel epic. The visual quality consistently enhances the emotional impact of the story, especially during scenes involving major character decisions and dramatic confrontations. The voice cast delivers strong performances throughout, helping audiences connect with both the heroic and tragic aspects of the narrative. Themes of family, destiny, sacrifice, friendship, leadership, and betrayal continue to drive the story forward, giving the film emotional depth that extends beyond its adventure elements. Although some viewers may find certain story developments familiar because they already know the larger Lion King mythology, the film succeeds by focusing on the emotional journeys of the characters rather than relying only on nostalgia. The result is a visually spectacular and emotionally engaging experience that expands the Lion King universe while remaining focused on the personal struggles, dreams, and choices that shape the future of its most important characters. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 delivers some of its strongest emotional storytelling as the journey approaches its most important turning points, and the film continues to prove that its greatest strength is not the action or visuals but the relationships between its characters. Mufasa has now fully emerged as a lion whose courage, wisdom, and compassion inspire those around him, and the movie makes it clear that his rise to leadership is based on character rather than birthright. Throughout the story he repeatedly risks his own safety to protect friends, family, and even strangers, showing that true leadership comes from service and sacrifice. These qualities gradually earn him the trust of other animals and help explain why he becomes such an important figure within the Pride Lands. At the same time, Taka's emotional journey becomes increasingly tragic. The film carefully explores how feelings of rejection, jealousy, and disappointment slowly influence his decisions, transforming him from a loyal companion into someone struggling with resentment and anger. What makes this development effective is that the audience understands why Taka feels the way he does, even when his choices lead him in the wrong direction. This emotional complexity gives the movie much of its dramatic power and makes the conflict between the two lions feel personal rather than simply heroic versus villainous. Sarabi continues to play a meaningful role, providing emotional support, intelligence, and strength while helping shape several important moments in the narrative. Her connection with Mufasa highlights his kindness and integrity, while her presence also increases the tension surrounding Taka's growing frustrations. The thread of heroes remains significant and provides some of the film's most exciting action sequences. His determination to dominate and control others creates constant danger, forcing the heroes to work together and make difficult sacrifices in order to survive. These moments are visually stunning thanks to the film's remarkable animation, which continues to impress with breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal movement, detailed environments, and cinematic scale. Every major location feels alive, making the world itself an important part of the storytelling experience. The voice cast remains excellent, bringing emotional depth to both quiet character moments and dramatic confrontations. One of the most successful aspects of the movie is its ability to balance adventure with meaningful themes about family, loyalty, destiny, courage, responsibility, and betrayal. The story reminds viewers that greatness is not determined by status or power but by the choices people make when faced with adversity. While some supporting characters could have benefited from additional screen time and a few plot developments may feel predictable to longtime Lion King fans, the emotional execution remains strong throughout. The film succeeds because it gives audiences reasons to care deeply about its characters and understand the emotional consequences of their actions. As the story moves closer to defining the future of the Pride Lands, every decision carries greater weight. Every conflict feels more personal, and every relationship becomes more important. The result is an emotionally rich and visually spectacular chapter that strengthens the legacy of the Lion King franchise while providing a heartfelt story about friendship, leadership, sacrifice, and the difficult choices that shape destiny. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to succeed because it never loses sight of the emotional journey at the center of the story, and this is what separates it from many visually impressive but emotionally empty family films. While the breathtaking animation immediately captures attention, the real strength of the movie comes from the way it develops its characters and relationships over time. Mufasa remains the heart of the film, and his growth from a vulnerable young lion into a respected leader feels believable because the movie consistently shows him learning from challenges rather than simply overcoming them through strength. His compassion, courage, and willingness to help others become the qualities that define him, making him a protagonist audiences can genuinely admire. One of the film's most effective elements is that it presents leadership as a responsibility rather than a reward. Mufasa earns respect through sacrifice, loyalty, and good judgment, and these traits gradually make him the lion others choose to follow. Taka remains one of the most fascinating characters because his emotional struggles give the story much of its dramatic tension. His desire to be valued and respected is understandable, which makes his mistakes feel tragic rather than simple acts of villainy. The film spends considerable time showing how insecurity can influence a person's choices, and this approach adds emotional depth to the narrative. Sarabi continues to be a strong supporting character whose intelligence and confidence help strengthen many of the movie's best scenes. Her interactions with Mufasa reveal important aspects of his personality and provide some of the story's most heartfelt moments. Heroes serves as a dangerous antagonist whose presence creates genuine stakes for the heroes and helps drive the adventure forward. The action scenes are exciting and visually impressive, but they work best when they are connected to the characters' emotional journeys. The animation remains exceptional throughout, with realistic animal expressions, stunning environments, beautiful lighting, and cinematic landscapes that make the world feel rich and immersive. The voice performances continue to enhance the emotional impact of the story, helping viewers connect with both the triumphs and struggles experienced by the characters. Themes of family, belonging, friendship, responsibility, sacrifice, trust, and betrayal remain central to the film and help give the adventure meaningful emotional weight. Although a few supporting characters could have received more development and some story elements may feel familiar to longtime fans of the franchise, the movie's strong emotional foundation allows it to overcome these weaknesses. The film does not rely entirely on nostalgia but instead works to create its own identity while expanding the mythology of the Lion King universe. By focusing on character growth and emotional storytelling, Mufasa, The Lion King delivers an engaging experience that appeals to both younger audiences and longtime fans, making it a worthy addition to the franchise and a memorable story about the qualities that define true leadership. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 becomes even more rewarding as the story continues to explore the emotional journeys of its characters, particularly the contrast between Mufasa and Taka. One of the film's greatest achievements is showing how two individuals who begin with a strong bond can gradually move in different directions because of the choices they make and the emotions they allow to guide them. Mufasa consistently demonstrates qualities such as courage, humility, kindness, and responsibility, and these traits help him earn the trust of those around him. The movie repeatedly emphasizes that leadership is not something that can simply be inherited or claimed but must be earned through actions. This message gives Mufasa's journey emotional depth and makes his rise feel meaningful rather than inevitable. Taka's storyline remains one of the most tragic aspects of the film because viewers can clearly see the internal struggles that shape his decisions. His growing feelings of jealousy and disappointment gradually affect the way he sees himself and others, creating tension that influences many of the story's most important moments. Rather than presenting him as a straightforward villain, the movie explores the emotional pain and insecurity behind his choices, making him a far more complex and sympathetic character than audiences might expect. Sarabi continues to bring strength, intelligence, and warmth to the narrative, helping create some of the film's most memorable character interactions. Her presence highlights the positive qualities in Mufasa while also contributing to the emotional conflicts surrounding Taka. Heroes remains an intimidating threat whose actions create danger and uncertainty for the heroes, ensuring that the adventure maintains its momentum. The action sequences are exciting and visually spectacular, but they also serve the story by revealing important aspects of the characters and their relationships. Visually, the film remains stunning from beginning to end. The landscapes are breathtaking, the animation is incredibly detailed, and the realistic animal movements help create an immersive world that feels alive. Every environment is carefully designed to support the emotional tone of the story, whether the scene involves danger, hope, loss, or triumph. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances that bring authenticity and emotion to every major moment. Themes such as family, loyalty, destiny, sacrifice, trust, friendship, and betrayal continue to shape the narrative, giving the movie a level of emotional richness that goes beyond its adventure elements. While some supporting characters could have benefited from additional development and certain plot points may feel familiar because of the connection to the original Lion King story, the emotional execution remains consistently effective. The film succeeds because it focuses on the personal journeys of its characters and makes audiences care about their successes, failures, and relationships. By combining beautiful visuals, strong performances, meaningful themes, and emotionally engaging storytelling, Mufasa, the Lion King creates an experience that feels both epic and personal, ensuring that the story remains compelling even for viewers who already know the larger history of the Pride Lands and its future rulers. Mufasa, the Lion King 2024 continues to build its emotional impact by showing how every important choice made by the characters affects their future and the future of the Pride Lands. One of the strongest parts of the movie is the way it develops Mufasa as a leader who earns respect through his actions rather than through his background. Throughout the story, he repeatedly proves that courage is not the absence of fear but the ability to do the right thing even when facing danger. His willingness to protect his friends and stand against powerful enemies makes him one of the most likable characters in the film. At the same time, the movie continues to explore Taka's emotional struggles, and this remains one of the most interesting aspects of the story. Instead of turning him into a villain immediately, the film takes time to show how feelings of insecurity, jealousy, and disappointment slowly influence his decisions. This gradual development makes his character feel realistic and gives the story much more emotional weight. The audience can understand why he feels hurt even when they disagree with the choices he makes. Sarabi continues to shine as a strong and intelligent character whose presence adds warmth and emotional depth to the narrative. Her interactions with Mufasa help create some of the movie's most heartfelt moments, while her role in the story also contributes to the growing tension between the main characters. Heroes remains a dangerous antagonist whose actions create several exciting and suspenseful sequences. The conflict involving heroes helps push the heroes to their limits and forces them to make difficult decisions that reveal their true character. The action scenes are visually impressive and benefit from the film's extraordinary animation quality. Every landscape, from open plains to dramatic mountain regions, looks stunning on screen, and the level of detail in the environments helps bring the world to life. The realistic animal animation remains one of the film's greatest achievements, allowing the characters to express emotion while still feeling believable. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances that enhance both the emotional and dramatic moments of the story. The movie's themes of family, loyalty, friendship, sacrifice, leadership, and destiny become even more powerful as the narrative progresses. One of the reasons the film works so well is that it balances large-scale adventure with personal character development, ensuring that viewers remain invested in both the action and the relationships. While some supporting characters could have received more attention and a few story elements may feel familiar to longtime Lion King fans, the emotional storytelling remains strong enough to keep audiences engaged. The film successfully expands the Lion King universe by giving greater depth to characters that audiences already know while introducing new challenges and relationships that enrich the overall story. By focusing on emotional growth, meaningful relationships, and the consequences of important choices, Mufasa, the Lion King continues to deliver an entertaining and heartfelt experience that strengthens the legacy of one of Disney's most beloved franchises. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to impress because it understands that the emotional connection between its characters is more important than spectacle alone. As the story progresses, Mufasa increasingly proves why he is destined to become one of the most respected leaders in the Pride Lands. His journey is built on compassion, courage, and a willingness to put the needs of others before his own, and these qualities make him a genuinely inspiring protagonist. The film repeatedly shows that true leadership is earned through actions and character rather than power or status. This message is delivered effectively through Mufasa's interactions with friends, allies, and even those who doubt him. At the same time, Taka's storyline becomes even more emotionally compelling. The movie carefully explores how feelings of jealousy, loneliness, and disappointment can slowly change a person's outlook. Rather than presenting him as simply evil, the story portrays him as a character struggling with emotions that gradually influence his decisions and relationships. This approach gives the film much of its emotional depth and makes the conflict between the two lions feel personal and tragic. Sarabi remains one of the strongest supporting characters in the movie, bringing intelligence, confidence, and emotional warmth to several key moments. Her presence helps strengthen the emotional core of the narrative while also highlighting the differences between Mufasa and Taka. The threat created by Kiros continues to raise the stakes and provides some of the film's most exciting sequences. His role as an antagonist works well because he creates genuine danger and forces the heroes to confront difficult challenges. The action scenes are thrilling and beautifully animated, but they never completely overshadow the character development that remains at the center of the story. Visually, the film is extraordinary, with breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal movements, detailed environments, and stunning cinematography that make every scene feel grand and immersive. The voice performances continue to be a major strength, bringing authenticity and emotion to both dramatic and heartfelt moments. Themes of family, loyalty, friendship, sacrifice, responsibility, trust, and destiny remain central to the narrative and help give the adventure real emotional weight. While some viewers may wish that a few supporting characters had larger roles and certain plot developments may feel familiar because of the connection to the original Lion King story, the film succeeds because it focuses on emotional storytelling rather than relying entirely on nostalgia. By combining memorable characters, beautiful visuals, meaningful themes, and strong performances, Mufasa, The Lion King delivers an engaging experience that expands the mythology of the franchise while remaining true to the heart and spirit that made the original story so beloved by audiences around the world. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to stand out as one of the most emotionally driven entries in the Lion King franchise because it focuses heavily on character growth and the choices that shape destiny. By this stage of the film, Mufasa has become a symbol of courage, wisdom, and selflessness, and the story repeatedly demonstrates why other animals begin to trust and respect him. What makes his character so effective is that he never seeks leadership for personal gain. Instead, he earns admiration through his willingness to help others, face danger, and make sacrifices when necessary. These qualities gradually establish him as the kind of leader the Pride Lands need. In contrast, Taka's emotional journey becomes increasingly heartbreaking as feelings of jealousy and frustration continue to influence his decisions. The film does an excellent job showing how personal insecurities can affect relationships and alter the course of a person's life. Rather than turning him into a one-dimensional antagonist, the movie allows viewers to understand the emotional struggles that push him toward darker choices. This approach adds depth to the narrative and makes the conflict between the two lions far more meaningful. Sarabi remains a vital character whose intelligence, bravery, and compassion strengthen many of the film's most memorable scenes. Her presence helps bring emotional balance to the story while also influencing several important developments involving the main characters. Heroes continues to serve as a dangerous enemy whose actions create tension, suspense, and exciting confrontations throughout the adventure. The challenges created by Kiros force the heroes to rely on trust, teamwork, and determination, helping reveal their true character. Visually, the movie remains spectacular from beginning to end. The landscapes are breathtaking, the animation is incredibly realistic, and the attention to detail in the environments helps create a world that feels alive. Every location contributes to the atmosphere of the story, making the adventure feel larger and more immersive. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances that add emotion and authenticity to the characters, particularly during scenes involving friendship, conflict, and personal sacrifice. Themes such as family, loyalty, leadership, destiny, courage, responsibility, and betrayal remain at the center of the narrative and help elevate the movie beyond a simple adventure. While some viewers may feel that a few supporting characters deserved more development and certain story elements follow familiar franchise traditions, the emotional execution remains strong enough to keep audiences invested. The movie succeeds because it gives genuine weight to the relationships between its characters and ensures that major events have meaningful emotional consequences. Through its combination of impressive visuals, heartfelt storytelling, memorable performances, and strong character development, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to expand the mythology of the Pride Lands while delivering an engaging and emotionally satisfying experience for both longtime fans and new audiences. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to deliver an emotionally engaging experience because it focuses on the consequences of loyalty, ambition, and personal choice. One of the film's greatest strengths is the way it develops Mufasa into a leader whose actions inspire confidence in everyone around him. He consistently demonstrates courage, compassion, and a willingness to place the needs of others before his own, making his rise feel earned rather than predetermined. The movie effectively shows that leadership is not about power but about responsibility, and this message remains at the heart of Mufasa's journey. At the same time, Taka's character becomes increasingly tragic as his inner struggles continue to shape his decisions. The film carefully explores how jealousy and insecurity can grow over time, affecting even the strongest relationships. This emotional complexity makes Taka one of the most interesting characters in the story because audiences can understand his pain even when they disagree with his actions. The contrast between Mufasa's selflessness and Taka's growing resentment creates much of the movie's emotional tension and keeps viewers invested in their relationship. Sarabi remains a strong and likable presence whose intelligence and courage contribute significantly to the story. Her interactions with the main characters help reveal important aspects of their personalities and add warmth to the narrative. Heroes continues to be an effective antagonist whose actions create danger and urgency throughout the adventure. The conflict involving heroes leads to several exciting action sequences that showcase the film's impressive visual quality while also pushing the characters toward important emotional and personal growth. Visually, the movie remains stunning, featuring breathtaking landscapes, detailed environments, realistic animal animation, and cinematic moments that make the Pride Lands feel alive. The voice cast continues to deliver convincing performances that strengthen both the emotional scenes and the larger dramatic moments. Themes of family, friendship, trust, sacrifice, destiny, leadership, and betrayal remain central to the narrative and help give the film emotional depth beyond its adventure elements. While some supporting characters could have benefited from additional development and a few story beats may feel familiar to longtime fans of the franchise, the emotional storytelling remains strong enough to overcome these issues. The movie succeeds because it focuses on relationships and character growth rather than relying entirely on spectacle. Every major decision has emotional consequences, and every challenge helps reveal more about who these characters truly are. Through its combination of heartfelt storytelling, memorable characters, impressive visuals, and meaningful themes, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to build a powerful origin story that deepens the mythology of the Lion King universe while delivering an entertaining and emotionally satisfying experience for audiences of all ages. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 remains effective because it combines emotional storytelling with strong character development, allowing viewers to become invested in the journey rather than focusing only on the destination. One of the film's most successful elements is the way it presents Mufasa as a character who earns respect through his actions. He repeatedly demonstrates courage, wisdom, and empathy, showing that true leadership is built on trust and responsibility. Throughout the movie, Mufasa grows from a young lion searching for his place in the world into someone capable of inspiring others during difficult times. This transformation feels believable because it is supported by meaningful experiences, personal sacrifices, and difficult decisions. The film consistently reinforces the idea that greatness comes from character rather than status, and this message gives the story much of its emotional strength. Taka continues to be one of the most compelling characters because his emotional struggles add depth and complexity to the narrative. His feelings of insecurity, disappointment, and jealousy gradually affect his relationships and influence many of the story's most important moments. The movie does a good job of showing how emotional wounds can shape a person's choices, making Taka's journey feel tragic rather than simplistic. Sarabi remains an important part of the story, bringing intelligence, confidence, and emotional warmth to several key scenes. Her presence strengthens the emotional core of the film and helps highlight the qualities that make Mufasa such a respected figure. Heroes continues to serve as a dangerous threat whose actions create tension and excitement throughout the adventure. The challenges he creates force the heroes to confront fear, make sacrifices, and rely on one another, helping reveal the true nature of each character. Visually, the film continues to impress with breathtaking environments, realistic animal animation, detailed landscapes, and cinematic action sequences. The attention to detail helps create a world that feels immersive and believable, making the emotional moments even more impactful. The voice cast delivers strong performances that bring sincerity and emotion to the characters, especially during scenes involving friendship, conflict, and personal growth. Themes of family, loyalty, destiny, sacrifice, trust, leadership, and betrayal remain at the center of the narrative and give the film a deeper emotional resonance. While some supporting characters may not receive as much development as viewers might hope and certain story elements may feel familiar to fans of the franchise, the movie succeeds because it focuses on emotional connection and meaningful character relationships. By combining stunning visuals, heartfelt storytelling, strong performances, and memorable themes, Mufasa, The Lion King offers an engaging and emotionally satisfying experience that expands the Lion King universe while honoring the legacy of the characters that audiences have loved for generations. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to shine because of the emotional depth it brings to characters that audiences have known for decades. The film's biggest achievement is that it makes Mufasa feel like more than a legendary king by showing the qualities that helped him earn the respect of others long before he ruled the Pride Lands. His bravery, kindness, and determination remain at the center of the story, and these qualities make him one of the most likable protagonists in the franchise. The movie repeatedly emphasizes that leadership is about protecting others and making difficult decisions for the greater good rather than seeking power for personal gain. This message gives the story emotional weight and helps viewers connect with Mufasa's journey. Taka remains one of the most emotionally complex characters in the film, and his development continues to be one of the movie's strongest elements. The story explores how feelings of envy and disappointment can gradually influence a person's choices, creating a tragic contrast between the two lions. Instead of presenting events in a simple good versus evil way, the film gives both characters understandable motivations, making their relationship far more compelling. Sarabi continues to be a strong presence whose courage and intelligence contribute to many important moments. Her role adds warmth and emotional balance to the narrative while strengthening several key relationships. Heroes remains an intimidating antagonist whose actions create genuine danger and help drive the story forward. The action sequences are exciting and visually impressive, but they work best because they are connected to the characters and their emotional struggles. Visually, the movie remains spectacular throughout, featuring breathtaking scenery, realistic animation, detailed environments, and impressive cinematography that make every location feel alive. The attention to detail helps create an immersive experience that draws viewers into the world of the Pride Lands. The voice cast delivers strong performances, bringing emotion and authenticity to both the dramatic and heartfelt scenes. Themes of family, friendship, loyalty, destiny, sacrifice, trust, and responsibility continue to shape the narrative and give the adventure meaningful emotional depth. While a few supporting characters could have received more development and some story beats may feel familiar to longtime Lion King fans, the emotional storytelling remains strong enough to keep audiences engaged. The film succeeds because it focuses on character relationships and personal growth rather than relying solely on visual spectacle. Through its combination of memorable performances, beautiful animation, emotional storytelling, and meaningful themes, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to expand the Lion King universe in a way that feels respectful, engaging, and emotionally satisfying for audiences of all ages. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to be one of the most emotionally engaging entries in the franchise because it focuses on the relationships that shape the future of the Pride Lands. The movie's strongest quality is its ability to make viewers care about the characters and understand the motivations behind their decisions. Mufasa remains the emotional center of the story, and his journey highlights the importance of courage, responsibility, and compassion. Throughout the film, he proves that true leadership is earned through actions rather than inherited through status. His willingness to protect others, face danger, and make sacrifices for those he cares about helps explain why he eventually becomes such a respected king. The movie does an excellent job showing that strength alone is not enough to lead. Wisdom, patience, and kindness are equally important qualities. Taka's character continues to provide some of the film's most powerful emotional moments. His struggles with jealousy, insecurity, and disappointment create a tragic layer within the story that makes the relationship between the two lions far more meaningful. Rather than portraying him as a simple villain, the film allows audiences to see the emotional conflicts that influence his choices, making his journey both compelling and heartbreaking. Sarabi remains a standout supporting character whose confidence, intelligence, and bravery strengthen the narrative. Her presence adds warmth to the story and helps create some of its most memorable emotional scenes. Heroes continues to serve as a threatening antagonist whose actions create danger and suspense while forcing the heroes to confront difficult challenges. These conflicts help reveal the true nature of the characters and provide exciting moments that balance the film's emotional storytelling. Visually, the movie remains extraordinary, with breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal animation, impressive visual detail, and cinematic action sequences that make the world feel alive. The environments are beautifully crafted and contribute significantly to the atmosphere of the film. The voice performances remain strong throughout, helping audiences connect with the characters during both dramatic confrontations and quieter emotional moments. Themes of family, friendship, trust, sacrifice, destiny, loyalty, leadership, and betrayal continue to drive the story forward and give it emotional depth beyond its adventure elements. While some viewers may wish for more development of certain supporting characters and a few story moments may feel familiar because of the connection to the original Lion King, the film succeeds because of its strong emotional core. By combining impressive visuals, meaningful character development, powerful relationships, and heartfelt storytelling, Mufasa, The Lion King delivers an entertaining and emotionally satisfying experience that expands the mythology of the Lion King universe while remaining true to the themes that made the franchise beloved around the world. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to leave a strong impression because of the way it blends emotional storytelling with large-scale adventure. One of the film's most effective qualities is its focus on how experiences shape a leader. Mufasa is not portrayed as a perfect character who always has the right answer. Instead, the movie shows him learning from challenges, making difficult decisions, and growing through hardship. This approach makes his journey feel more relatable and gives audiences a deeper appreciation for the character. His courage is important, but the film repeatedly demonstrates that his compassion and sense of responsibility are what truly set him apart. These qualities help him build strong relationships and earn the trust of those around him. Taka's storyline remains one of the most emotionally powerful aspects of the movie because it explores how feelings of frustration and insecurity can gradually influence a person's choices. The film takes time to show why he feels the way he does, making his character far more complex than a typical antagonist. This emotional depth strengthens the overall narrative and makes the relationship between Mufasa and Taka the heart of the film. Sarabi continues to be an important character whose intelligence, confidence, and bravery contribute significantly to the story. Her presence helps create some of the movie's most memorable interactions and adds emotional balance to several key moments. Heroes remains a formidable villain whose actions create tension throughout the adventure and force the heroes into dangerous situations. These conflicts provide exciting action sequences while also revealing important aspects of the characters' personalities. Visually, the movie remains stunning, featuring spectacular landscapes, detailed environments, realistic animal animation, and impressive cinematic scale. Every scene is crafted with remarkable attention to detail, making the world feel rich and immersive. The voice cast delivers strong performances that bring authenticity and emotion to the characters, helping audiences connect with both their triumphs and struggles. Themes of family, loyalty, friendship, sacrifice, destiny, leadership, trust, and betrayal continue to give the story emotional weight. Although some supporting characters could have been explored more deeply and a few narrative developments may feel familiar to longtime fans of the franchise, the film succeeds because of its strong emotional foundation. The combination of memorable characters, beautiful visuals, meaningful themes, and heartfelt storytelling allows Mufasa, the Lion King to stand as a worthy addition to the Lion King saga, offering an engaging experience that appeals to both new viewers and longtime fans while celebrating the values that have always been at the center of this beloved franchise. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to succeed because it treats its characters as the foundation of the story rather than relying entirely on nostalgia or visual spectacle. As the narrative progresses, Mufasa increasingly becomes the symbol of everything a great leader should be. He consistently places the safety and well-being of others above his own desires, and the film repeatedly demonstrates that his greatest strength is not physical power but his ability to inspire trust and unity. This makes his journey feel meaningful because audiences witness how his experiences shape him into the future king of the Pride Lands. The movie spends considerable time showing the challenges that force Mufasa to grow, and these moments help make his development feel earned rather than automatic. At the same time, Taka's story remains one of the most emotionally compelling elements of the film. His growing frustration and feelings of being overlooked create a sense of tragedy that hangs over many of the story's most important scenes. The audience can understand why he feels hurt, which makes his decisions more impactful and gives the conflict emotional depth. Rather than presenting a simple battle between good and evil, the movie explores how relationships can change when jealousy, pride, and disappointment begin to influence judgment. Sarabi continues to be a vital part of the story, bringing courage, intelligence, and emotional warmth to key moments. Her interactions with Mufasa help highlight his best qualities, while her presence also plays a role in the changing dynamics between the main characters. Heroes remains an effective antagonist whose actions create danger and urgency throughout the adventure. The challenges he presents force the heroes to confront fear, make sacrifices, and prove their loyalty to one another. These conflicts provide some of the film's most exciting action sequences while also contributing to character growth. Visually, the movie remains breathtaking, with stunning landscapes, detailed environments, realistic animal animation, and cinematic moments that make the world feel alive and immersive. The attention to visual detail enhances every emotional scene and action sequence, helping the audience feel connected to the story. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances that bring authenticity and emotion to the characters. Themes of family, belonging, friendship, trust, sacrifice, destiny, leadership, and betrayal remain central to the narrative and help elevate the film beyond a simple adventure story. While some viewers may feel that certain supporting characters deserved additional development and a few plot points may be predictable for longtime Lion King fans, the emotional storytelling remains strong enough to keep audiences invested. By focusing on meaningful relationships, personal growth, and the consequences of important choices, Mufasa, The Lion King delivers a heartfelt and visually spectacular experience that expands the Lion King universe while remaining true to the emotional spirit that made the original story so beloved. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to succeed because it combines emotional storytelling with strong character development, creating an experience that feels both familiar and fresh within the Lion King universe. One of the movie's greatest strengths is the way it explores Mufasa's transformation into a leader whose actions inspire loyalty and respect. Throughout the story, he repeatedly demonstrates bravery, wisdom, and compassion, proving that leadership is earned through character rather than inherited through birth. The film consistently reinforces the idea that true strength comes from protecting others and making sacrifices when necessary. This makes Mufasa an inspiring protagonist and helps audiences understand why he eventually becomes such a legendary figure. Taka remains one of the most emotionally complex characters in the movie, and his journey continues to add depth to the narrative. The film carefully shows how feelings of insecurity, jealousy, and disappointment can gradually influence a person's choices, creating emotional conflict that affects every major relationship in the story. Rather than presenting events in a simple way, the movie allows viewers to see the motivations behind both characters, making their struggles feel realistic and meaningful. Sarabi continues to be an important part of the narrative, bringing intelligence, courage, and emotional warmth to many of the film's strongest scenes. Her presence helps strengthen the emotional foundation of the story and provides balance during moments of tension and conflict. Heroes remains an effective antagonist whose actions create danger and force the heroes to face difficult challenges. The confrontations involving heroes provide exciting action while also helping reveal the values, fears, and strengths of the main characters. Visually, the film remains spectacular, featuring breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal animation, detailed environments, and cinematic sequences that make every location feel alive. The animation is consistently impressive, helping both emotional and action-driven scenes leave a lasting impact. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances that bring authenticity and emotion to the characters, making their victories and struggles feel genuine. Themes of family, friendship, loyalty, sacrifice, trust, leadership, destiny, courage, and betrayal continue to shape the narrative and give the adventure emotional depth. While some supporting characters may not receive as much attention as viewers might hope and a few story developments may feel predictable for longtime fans of the franchise, the emotional storytelling remains strong enough to keep audiences invested. Through its combination of memorable characters, meaningful relationships, beautiful visuals, and heartfelt themes, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to provide an engaging and emotionally satisfying experience that expands the mythology of the Pride Lands while honoring the legacy of one of Disney's most beloved stories. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to leave a lasting impression because of the emotional depth it brings to familiar characters and the way it explores the qualities that define a true leader. One of the strongest aspects of the film is how it portrays Mufasa's growth through challenges, setbacks, and difficult decisions. Rather than simply presenting him as a future king destined for greatness, the movie shows him earning the respect of others through courage, kindness, and self-sacrifice. These qualities make his journey feel genuine and inspiring. The film repeatedly emphasizes that leadership is not about power or status but about protecting others and making choices that benefit the community. This message gives the story emotional weight and helps make Mufasa a character audiences can admire. Taka's development remains one of the most compelling parts of the narrative because it adds tragedy and complexity to the story. His struggles with jealousy, insecurity, and disappointment continue to influence his actions, creating emotional tension that grows throughout the film. The movie takes care to show why he feels the way he does, allowing viewers to understand his perspective even when they disagree with his decisions. This approach makes the conflict between Mufasa and Taka far more meaningful because it is rooted in emotions rather than simple rivalry. Sarabi continues to be an important character whose intelligence, confidence, and compassion strengthen the emotional core of the film. Her presence adds warmth to several key scenes and helps highlight the positive qualities that make Mufasa such a respected figure. Heroes remains a threatening antagonist whose actions create danger and force the heroes to confront difficult challenges. The action sequences involving him are exciting and visually impressive, but they are most effective when they contribute to character growth and reveal the values of the characters involved. Visually, the movie remains breathtaking, with detailed environments, realistic animal animation, beautiful landscapes, and cinematic imagery that bring the world of the Pride Lands to life. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances that help audiences connect with the characters and their emotional journeys. Themes of family, friendship, loyalty, sacrifice, trust, destiny, leadership, and betrayal continue to drive the narrative and provide emotional depth. While some viewers may feel that certain supporting characters could have been developed further and a few story elements may feel familiar because of the franchise's history, the emotional storytelling remains the film's greatest strength. Through its combination of memorable characters, heartfelt performances, meaningful themes, and stunning visuals, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to build on the legacy of the Lion King franchise and offers an engaging experience that appeals to both longtime fans and new audiences alike. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to work best when it focuses on the emotional journeys of its main characters and the lessons they learn through hardship, friendship, and sacrifice. One of the film's greatest strengths is the way it develops Mufasa into a leader who inspires others through his actions rather than his position. Throughout the story, he consistently demonstrates courage, compassion, and a willingness to protect those around him, qualities that gradually earn him the trust and respect of other animals. The movie reinforces the idea that true leadership comes from responsibility and selflessness, and this message gives Mufasa's character lasting emotional appeal. The relationship between Mufasa and Taka remains the heart of the film and provides many of its most powerful moments. Their shared history creates an emotional foundation that makes every disagreement and conflict feel meaningful. Taka's personal struggles continue to add complexity to the narrative, showing how feelings of insecurity and disappointment can influence a person's choices. Rather than portraying him as a simple antagonist, the movie explores the emotions behind his actions, making him one of the most layered characters in the story. Sarabi remains an important part of the narrative, bringing intelligence, courage, and emotional warmth to key scenes. Her presence strengthens the story's emotional core and helps highlight the qualities that make Mufasa such an admired figure. Heroes continues to serve as a dangerous enemy whose actions create tension and force the heroes to face difficult challenges. These confrontations provide exciting action while also revealing the strength, loyalty, and determination of the main characters. Visually, the film remains spectacular, featuring breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal animation, detailed environments, and cinematic sequences that create a rich and immersive world. The animation allows emotional moments to feel genuine while making action scenes exciting and dramatic. The voice performances continue to be a major strength, helping audiences connect with the characters and their experiences. Themes of family, loyalty, friendship, sacrifice, trust, destiny, leadership, and betrayal remain central to the film and give it emotional depth beyond its adventure elements. While some supporting characters could have received additional development and certain story elements may feel familiar to longtime fans of the franchise, the movie succeeds because it remains focused on meaningful relationships and character growth. Through its combination of emotional storytelling, memorable characters, strong performances, beautiful visuals, and timeless themes, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to deliver a heartfelt and engaging experience that expands the Lion King universe while honoring the legacy of one of Disney's most beloved stories. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to stand out because it successfully balances emotional storytelling, character development, and visual spectacle while expanding the history of one of Disney's most iconic characters. By this stage of the discussion, one of the clearest strengths of the film is how it presents Mufasa as a leader shaped by experience rather than privilege. His journey is filled with obstacles, losses, and difficult choices, and each challenge helps him become wiser and more compassionate. The movie repeatedly shows that respect cannot be demanded and must instead be earned through actions. This message gives Mufasa's story a sense of authenticity and makes his eventual rise feel satisfying. Another major strength is the way the film develops the emotional connection between its central characters. The bond between Mufasa and Taka remains the emotional foundation of the narrative, and the gradual changes in their relationship create many of the movie's most memorable moments. Their friendship, loyalty, misunderstandings, and growing differences add depth to the story and help explain why the future of the Pride Lands is shaped by their choices. Taka remains one of the film's most layered characters because the audience is given insight into his fears, frustrations, and disappointments. This approach prevents him from feeling one-dimensional and makes his emotional journey more impactful. Sarabi continues to play an important role through her intelligence, courage, and determination, bringing warmth and emotional balance to the narrative. Her presence strengthens several key scenes and helps highlight the qualities that make Mufasa such a respected figure. Heroes remains an effective antagonist whose actions create danger and urgency throughout the adventure, forcing the heroes to confront difficult situations that test their loyalty and bravery. The action sequences remain exciting and visually impressive, but they are most successful when they contribute to character growth and emotional development. Visually, the film continues to be remarkable, featuring stunning environments, realistic animal animation, detailed landscapes, and cinematic imagery that make every scene feel immersive. The attention to detail helps create a believable world while maintaining the sense of wonder that audiences expect from a Lion King story. The voice cast delivers strong performances that add emotional depth and authenticity to the characters, ensuring that even quieter moments feel meaningful. Themes of family, friendship, trust, sacrifice, destiny, leadership, responsibility, and betrayal continue to resonate throughout the film and provide emotional weight beyond the adventure itself. While some viewers may feel that certain supporting characters deserved additional screen time and a few story developments may be predictable for longtime fans, the emotional storytelling remains consistently strong. Through its combination of memorable characters, heartfelt performances, meaningful themes, and breathtaking visuals, Mufasa, The Lion King succeeds as both an entertaining adventure and a character-driven story that deepens the legacy of the Lion King universe while providing audiences with an emotionally satisfying experience. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to resonate because it understands that memorable stories are built on emotional connections rather than spectacle alone. As the narrative progresses, the film further reinforces the qualities that make Mufasa such an admired character. His courage is important, but what truly defines him is his ability to show compassion even in difficult circumstances. The movie repeatedly highlights how he earns the trust of others through honesty, loyalty, and a willingness to stand up for what is right. These qualities gradually transform him into a leader whom others willingly follow, and this development feels natural because it is supported by meaningful experiences throughout the story. The film does an excellent job showing that leadership is not about control but about responsibility and service. Taka's storyline continues to provide emotional complexity and remains one of the strongest elements of the movie. His struggle with feelings of inadequacy and frustration creates a sense of tragedy that follows many of the film's most important moments. The audience can clearly see how his emotions influence his decisions, and this understanding makes his character more compelling than a traditional villain. The contrast between Mufasa's selfless approach and Taka's growing resentment adds depth to the narrative and gives many scenes greater emotional impact. Sarabi remains an important presence whose confidence, intelligence, and kindness help strengthen the emotional foundation of the story. Her interactions with the main characters reveal different aspects of their personalities and contribute to several heartfelt moments. Heroes continues to function as a powerful antagonist whose actions create danger and suspense while pushing the heroes toward personal growth. The conflicts involving heroes are exciting and visually impressive, but they are most effective because they reveal the values and motivations of the characters involved. Visually, the movie remains spectacular, featuring breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal animation, detailed environments, and cinematic sequences that make the world feel vibrant and alive. Every location is presented with remarkable care, helping audiences become fully immersed in the adventure. The voice performances continue to be a major strength, bringing emotion and authenticity to both dramatic and emotional scenes. Themes of family, friendship, sacrifice, trust, loyalty, destiny, leadership, and betrayal remain central to the narrative and help give the story lasting emotional power. Although some viewers may wish for additional development of certain supporting characters and a few story elements may feel familiar because of the franchise's history, the movie succeeds because it remains focused on meaningful character relationships. Through its combination of emotional storytelling, strong performances, beautiful visuals, and memorable themes, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to expand the legacy of the Lion King universe while delivering an engaging experience that appeals to audiences of all ages and reminds viewers why these characters have remained beloved for generations. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to build on its emotional strengths by focusing on the values that define its central characters and the relationships that shape their futures. One of the film's greatest achievements is showing how Mufasa becomes a respected leader through experience, hardship, and personal sacrifice rather than through privilege alone. Every major challenge he faces helps reveal qualities such as courage, patience, kindness, and determination, making his journey feel meaningful and inspiring. The movie repeatedly demonstrates that true leadership requires a willingness to place the needs of others above personal ambition, and this idea remains at the heart of Mufasa's character throughout the story. At the same time, Taka's emotional struggles continue to provide much of the film's dramatic weight. His growing feelings of resentment and disappointment create tension that affects many of the relationships around him, and the movie carefully explores how these emotions influence his decisions. This approach gives the character depth and makes his journey feel tragic rather than simple. The contrast between Mufasa's selfless nature and Taka's inner conflicts remains one of the strongest aspects of the narrative, helping audiences understand why their paths eventually lead in very different directions. Sarabi continues to be a strong and memorable presence whose intelligence, bravery, and compassion contribute significantly to the emotional core of the story. Her interactions with the main characters help create some of the film's most heartfelt moments and add warmth to the narrative. Heroes remains an effective antagonist whose actions generate danger and uncertainty, forcing the heroes to confront challenges that test their loyalty and courage. The action scenes remain exciting and visually impressive, but they work best when they reveal important aspects of the characters and their relationships. Visually, the film continues to impress with breathtaking environments, realistic animal animation, detailed landscapes, and cinematic presentation that bring the world of the Pride Lands to life. The animation quality remains consistently high, helping every emotional and action-driven scene feel more impactful. The voice cast delivers strong performances that bring authenticity and emotion to the characters, allowing viewers to connect with their personal journeys. Themes of family, friendship, trust, sacrifice, leadership, destiny, loyalty, and betrayal continue to guide the narrative and provide emotional depth. While a few supporting characters could have benefited from more screen time and some story developments may feel familiar to longtime fans of the franchise, the movie succeeds because of its strong character development and heartfelt storytelling. Through its combination of memorable performances, meaningful themes, emotional relationships, and stunning visuals, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to offer an engaging and rewarding experience that expands the Lion King universe while remaining faithful to the emotional spirit that made the original story so beloved. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to hold attention because of the emotional journey at the center of the story and the way it expands the mythology of the Pride Lands. One of the film's most successful elements is its portrayal of Mufasa as a character who earns every step of his rise through determination, courage, and empathy. Rather than presenting him as a hero who succeeds because of destiny alone, the movie shows him facing difficult obstacles and learning important lessons from each experience. This approach makes his eventual position as a respected leader feel deserved and satisfying. The film repeatedly emphasizes that leadership is built on trust, responsibility, and the willingness to make sacrifices for others, and these themes give the story much of its emotional strength. Taka's storyline remains equally important because it provides the emotional conflict that drives much of the narrative. His feelings of being overshadowed and misunderstood continue to influence his decisions, creating a tragic contrast with Mufasa's growth. The movie handles this dynamic effectively by showing how two individuals can begin with similar opportunities yet move toward very different futures because of the choices they make. This emotional complexity helps the story feel more mature and meaningful than a straightforward adventure. Sarabi continues to be a valuable character whose intelligence and courage contribute to several memorable scenes. She brings warmth and balance to the narrative while also helping reveal different sides of the main characters. Heroes remains a dangerous threat whose actions raise the stakes and force the heroes to confront difficult challenges. The action sequences involving him are exciting and visually impressive, but they also serve the story by pushing the characters toward growth and self-discovery. Visually, the film remains extraordinary, featuring stunning landscapes, detailed environments, realistic animation, and cinematic imagery that make every scene feel immersive. The attention to detail helps create a world that feels both believable and magical. The voice performances continue to add emotional depth to the characters, making important moments feel authentic and impactful. Themes of family, friendship, loyalty, sacrifice, leadership, destiny, trust, and betrayal remain central to the narrative and help elevate the movie beyond its visual spectacle. While some viewers may feel that certain supporting characters deserved more development and a few story elements may be familiar to longtime Lion King fans, the emotional storytelling remains the film's greatest strength. By combining powerful character relationships, beautiful animation, meaningful themes, and heartfelt performances, Mufasa, The Lion King delivers an engaging and emotionally satisfying experience that deepens the legacy of one of Disney's most beloved stories while giving audiences a new perspective on the characters who shaped the future of the Pride Lands. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to succeed because it understands that the audience's emotional connection to the characters is the most important part of the experience. The film spends considerable time developing Mufasa into a leader whose greatest strength is not physical power but his ability to inspire trust, loyalty, and hope. Throughout the story, he consistently demonstrates courage in dangerous situations and compassion toward those who need help, making him a character who feels worthy of the respect he receives. His journey is filled with challenges that test his character, and these moments help show how leadership is built through experience, sacrifice, and responsibility. One of the most effective aspects of the movie is how it contrasts Mufasa's growth with Taka's emotional struggles. Taka remains a deeply layered character whose feelings of insecurity and frustration gradually affect his relationships and decisions. The film does not treat him as a simple villain but instead explores the emotions that contribute to his transformation, making many of his scenes emotionally powerful. This approach gives the story greater depth and allows audiences to understand both characters even when they disagree with the paths they choose. Sarabi continues to be an important part of the narrative, bringing intelligence, courage, and emotional warmth to several key moments. Her interactions with the main characters help strengthen the emotional core of the film and provide balance during some of the more dramatic sections of the story. Heroes remains an intimidating antagonist whose actions create tension and danger throughout the adventure. The conflicts involving heroes lead to exciting action sequences that showcase the film's remarkable visual quality while also helping reveal the strengths and weaknesses of the heroes. Visually, the movie remains spectacular, with breathtaking scenery, realistic animal animation, detailed environments, and cinematic presentation that make every location feel alive. The attention to detail is impressive and helps immerse viewers in the world of the Pride Lands. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances, bringing emotion and authenticity to the characters and helping audiences connect with their personal journeys. Themes of family, friendship, loyalty, sacrifice, trust, leadership, destiny, and betrayal remain central to the narrative and continue to give the film emotional depth. While some supporting characters may not receive as much development as viewers would like and a few story elements may feel familiar to longtime fans of the franchise, the emotional storytelling remains strong enough to keep audiences invested. The movie succeeds because it focuses on meaningful character relationships and the consequences of important choices rather than relying solely on visual spectacle. Through its combination of heartfelt storytelling, memorable performances, beautiful animation, and strong themes, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to build a powerful and emotionally satisfying addition to the Lion King universe that appeals to both new audiences and longtime fans. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to leave a strong emotional impact because it focuses on the personal journeys of its characters rather than relying only on visual spectacle. As the story progresses, Mufasa becomes an even more inspiring figure, demonstrating that true leadership comes from courage, compassion, and the ability to put others before oneself. The film repeatedly shows him facing difficult situations where he must make choices that affect not only his own future but also the future of those around him. These moments help audiences understand why he eventually becomes one of the most respected rulers in the Pride Lands. His development feels natural because every challenge teaches him valuable lessons about responsibility, trust, and sacrifice. At the same time, Taka's emotional journey remains one of the most compelling aspects of the movie. The story carefully explores how feelings of insecurity and disappointment can slowly influence a person's perspective, creating emotional tension that grows throughout the film. What makes this storyline effective is that viewers can understand the reasons behind his emotions even when they disagree with his decisions. This complexity gives the narrative greater depth and makes the relationship between the two lions far more powerful than a simple conflict between hero and villain. Sarabi continues to be a strong and memorable character whose intelligence, courage, and kindness contribute to many important moments. Her presence strengthens the emotional core of the film and helps create several heartfelt scenes that balance the larger adventure. Heroes remains a threatening antagonist whose actions raise the stakes and force the heroes to confront danger, fear, and uncertainty. These confrontations provide exciting action while also revealing important aspects of the characters' personalities. Visually, the movie continues to impress with stunning landscapes, realistic animal animation, detailed environments, and cinematic sequences that make every scene feel grand and immersive. The attention to detail helps bring the world to life and enhances both the emotional and action-driven moments. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances, bringing sincerity and emotion to the characters and helping audiences connect with their struggles and triumphs. Themes of family, loyalty, friendship, leadership, destiny, sacrifice, trust, and betrayal remain central to the story and give it emotional resonance beyond its adventure elements. Although some supporting characters could have received additional development and certain story beats may feel familiar to longtime fans, the movie succeeds because of its heartfelt storytelling and strong character relationships. Through its combination of emotional depth, memorable performances, beautiful visuals, and meaningful themes, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to provide an engaging and rewarding experience that expands the Lion King universe while honoring the legacy of its beloved characters. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to captivate audiences because of the emotional weight carried by its characters and the way the story explores the meaning of leadership, family, and destiny. One of the film's strongest qualities is its portrayal of Mufasa as a leader who earns respect through actions rather than inheritance. Throughout the movie, he repeatedly demonstrates bravery, kindness, and a willingness to sacrifice for others, making him a character that viewers can admire and connect with. His journey is not simply about becoming king but about learning what it means to be responsible for the lives and well-being of those around him. This gives the story a deeper emotional foundation and helps separate it from many traditional adventure films. Taka's development remains one of the most powerful aspects of the movie because it adds tragedy and emotional complexity to the narrative. The film carefully shows how feelings of jealousy, loneliness, and disappointment can influence a person's choices over time. Rather than presenting him as purely good or purely bad, the story allows audiences to see both his strengths and weaknesses, making him one of the most interesting characters in the film. The relationship between Mufasa and Taka continues to provide many of the movie's most memorable moments because their bond is built on genuine affection, making the conflicts between them feel emotionally significant. Sarabi remains a strong and intelligent character whose presence adds warmth and balance to the story. Her courage and determination make her more than just a supporting character, and her interactions with the main cast help strengthen several important emotional scenes. Heroes continues to serve as a dangerous antagonist whose actions create suspense and push the heroes toward difficult decisions. The action sequences involving heroes are exciting and visually impressive, but they are most effective when they contribute to the emotional growth of the characters. Visually, the movie remains extraordinary, featuring breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal animation, detailed environments, and cinematic visuals that bring the world of the Pride Lands to life. Every location feels rich and immersive, helping audiences become fully invested in the adventure. The voice cast continues to deliver strong performances, bringing authenticity, emotion, and personality to every character. Themes of family, friendship, trust, sacrifice, loyalty, leadership, destiny, and betrayal continue to shape the narrative and give the story lasting emotional impact. While some viewers may wish that certain supporting characters had larger roles and a few story developments may feel familiar to longtime Lion King fans, the emotional storytelling remains strong throughout. The movie succeeds because it focuses on meaningful relationships and character growth while delivering impressive visuals and memorable moments. Through its combination of heart, adventure, strong performances, and emotional depth, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to build upon the legacy of the franchise and provides an engaging experience that appeals to audiences of all ages. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to be an emotionally powerful film because it focuses on how character, loyalty, and difficult choices shape the future. By this stage of the story, Mufasa has fully established himself as a lion who earns respect through courage and compassion rather than through status or power. The movie repeatedly shows that he is willing to put himself in danger to protect those around him, and this selfless attitude becomes one of the main reasons other animals trust and follow him. His growth throughout the film feels natural because every challenge teaches him something about responsibility, sacrifice, and leadership. The relationship between Mufasa and Taka remains the most compelling part of the movie. Their bond was once built on friendship and brotherhood, but the emotional distance between them continues to grow as their outlook on life becomes increasingly different. The film does a strong job showing how jealousy and insecurity can slowly damage even the closest relationships. Taka's emotional struggles make him one of the most tragic characters in the story because audiences can understand the feelings behind many of his actions, even when those actions create conflict. This emotional complexity gives the narrative much of its strength and prevents the story from feeling simplistic. Sarabi continues to be a valuable character whose confidence, intelligence, and kindness add warmth to the film. Her presence helps create several heartfelt moments and strengthens the emotional connection between the audience and the main characters. Heroes remains a dangerous threat whose actions increase the stakes and force the heroes into challenging situations. The conflict he creates leads to exciting action scenes that showcase the movie's impressive animation and visual scale. Visually, the film remains stunning, with breathtaking landscapes, realistic animal movement, detailed environments, and cinematic sequences that make every location feel alive. The animation team deserves significant credit for creating a world that feels both realistic and magical at the same time. The voice performances continue to be excellent, bringing emotion and authenticity to every major scene. Themes of family, trust, friendship, sacrifice, destiny, leadership, courage, and betrayal remain central to the narrative and help give the story emotional depth. While some viewers may feel that a few supporting characters could have received more development and certain story elements may be predictable for those familiar with the Lion King mythology, the movie succeeds because of its strong emotional foundation. Every important event feels connected to the characters and their relationships, making the audience care about the outcome. Through its combination of memorable characters, beautiful visuals, meaningful themes, and heartfelt storytelling, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to deliver a rewarding and emotionally engaging experience that expands the Lion King universe while staying true to the spirit that made the franchise beloved around the world. Mufasa, The Lion King 2024 continues to build on its strongest qualities by focusing on the emotional weight of its characters' decisions and the lasting impact those decisions have on their relationships. One of the most impressive aspects of the film is how it transforms Mufasa from a young lion searching for his place in the world into a figure worthy of becoming the future king of the Pride Lands. His journey is filled with challenges that test his courage, patience, and ability to lead others during difficult situations. Rather than relying on strength alone, Mufasa repeatedly succeeds because he chooses compassion, cooperation, and responsibility. These qualities make him a hero that audiences can admire and help explain why so many characters trust him. The film effectively shows that leadership is not about commanding others but about earning their respect through actions and sacrifice. Taka's storyline continues to provide the emotional heartache that gives the narrative much of its dramatic power. As his feelings of insecurity and disappointment grow, viewers witness how emotional wounds can slowly influence a person's decisions and relationships. The movie handles this development carefully, allowing audiences to understand his struggles while also recognizing the consequences of the choices he makes. This complexity makes him one of the most memorable characters in the story and helps elevate the film beyond a straightforward adventure. Sarabi remains an important presence whose strength, intelligence, and kindness contribute significantly to the emotional balance of the narrative. Her interactions with both Mufasa and Taka help reveal important aspects of their personalities and deepen the story's emotional impact. Heroes continues to serve as a dangerous and effective antagonist whose actions create tension throughout the film. His pursuit of power and control forces the heroes into difficult situations that require courage and teamwork to overcome. These confrontations provide some of the movie's most exciting moments while also helping the characters grow. Visually, the film remains spectacular, with breathtaking scenery, realistic animal animation, detailed environments, and stunning cinematography that make every location feel grand and alive. The visual presentation consistently supports the emotional storytelling, making important moments feel even more powerful. The voice performances continue to bring authenticity and emotion to the characters, helping audiences connect with their fears, hopes, victories, and struggles. Themes of family, loyalty, friendship, sacrifice, trust, destiny, leadership, and betrayal remain central to the narrative and continue to resonate throughout the story. Although some supporting characters could have benefited from additional screen time and certain elements may feel familiar to longtime fans of the Lion King franchise, the movie succeeds because of its strong emotional core. By combining beautiful visuals, compelling character development, meaningful themes, and heartfelt storytelling, Mufasa, The Lion King continues to deliver an engaging experience that honors the legacy of the franchise while providing a deeper understanding of the characters who